The Book of Ham. The Ethiopians did it, the Greco-Romans and Egyptians did it, the Arabs did it, the Protestant Western Europeans did it. Now it is about time that the people of the ancient Bantu culture stretched forth their hand unto God and did it. Africa awaits its creators. Now there came a time when a small group of Shemites would leave their homeland of Canaan because of the pestilence and famine that had covered the land of Shem, and they would enter into the land of Ham. And the Shemites humbled themselves and were like sheep before the Hamites, and fell to their knees in fear, begging for them to have mercy upon them, because the gods of Shem, which they had put ahead of the Almighty, Jah, had abandoned them, proving that they could only be a fantasy or illusion. And because the Hamites knew the spirit of pure love, balance and order, and were obedient to the Christ, Alpha and Omega, they opened their arms with kindness towards the Shemites and allowed them to stay peacefully within the land of Ham. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end, the truth shall stand and forever it will be. Selah. And the Pharaoh who were the rulers in the land of Ham, and his wife the queen of Ethiopia, sent a message of welcome to the Shemites, and they chose some of the wisest of the Hamite and Ethiopian people, who were called the Moses, to go down to the Shemite camp, so that they should wash them and clothe them, feed them, and give them medicine. And when this had been done, one of the Pharaoh went down amongst these children of Shem and asked of them if there was anything that they would require that he could provide. And they replied, saying that they wished to learn the righteous ways of the Hamites so that they could know what it is to truly have peace, balance, and order in their life without fear of the traps and temptations being set for them by the followers of Satan. And one of the Moses called out with a loud voice, saying, Open up your heart with obedience to the Christ, the divine Spirit in whom we must put our trust, for this is the only way to find the gift of pure love and abundance. And the Shemites heeded the words of the Moses in accordance with their own understanding and began to flourish within the land of Ham, limited only by the extent of their acceptance of the Spirit of the Christ, Alpha and Omega, the true ruler of our destiny in this world. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Selah. And the Hamites looked upon the children of Shem, with much rejoicing, merriment, and music, pleased to hear that they had turned their backs on the false gods that they had once held dear, to follow in the righteous ways of the Hamites who still remembered the tree of life and the Christ, Alpha and Omega, who is its eternal keeper. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Selah. And in their rejoicing, the Hamites began to make wine with the blessings of the Pharaoh and his wife the queen of Ethiopia. And the Hamites and the Shemites drank wine together until they had become drunkard, and the Hamites began to lose their memory of the tree of life and the pure love from the Most High that surrounded it. And the angels who had been guiding and watching over the children of Ham saw their misguided and drunken behavior and removed a portion of the blessings which they had previously been endowed with. And the Hamites were as if blinded because they could not see and did not perceive the creeping approach of the violent horde from the east, making them to be like lambs to the slaughter. And the invader came, through the land of Shem, at first as wolves in sheep's clothing, into the land of Ham, scouting and testing its strengths and weaknesses. A prelude to their satanic plan to invade into the land of Ham and destroy the spirit of pure love, devouring all that got in their way, and vowing to put the Hamites down into the lowest of places and take away all of their most precious treasures. And because the children of Ham had allowed themselves to become like the drunkard one, foolish and blind, the Spirit of the Christ, Alpha and Omega, turned away from them, and many of the Hamite people would be taken away by the invader, against their own will, into slavery. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Selah. But because the spirit of pure love was strong and true and unwavering, mercy was shown on the children of Ham by the angels of the Most High, because of the firm faithfulness of those who were called the Moses. So half of the land of Ham would remain in their hands, and Ethiopia and its queen would remain untouched. And the invader would remain in its conquered portion to the north of the land of Ham for 100 years, continuing to introduce their ungodly practices to the people of Ham whom they had held in bondage. Until one of those who were called the Moses rose up to become the new king, which is the Pharaoh, on the vacant throne in the south of the land of Ham, declaring oneness, love and unity between the nations of Ham and Ethiopia. And the Moses stretched forth his hands unto the Almighty, Jah, in thanks, saying, The Spirit of the Christ is with us, and is our protector, therefore we will fear no evil, for thy rod of judgment and correction will only bring us comfort and joy. And the new Pharaoh, who was also a Moses, gathered together a great army combining the Hamites and the Ethiopians who had remained obedient to the Christ, Alpha and Omega, who is the defender of all who would bow down before the spirit of pure love, to march north and confront the invader of the land of Ham and set the captive free. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Selah. And when the invaders of the north saw the great army of the Hamites approaching from the south, they quickly scattered and retreated back into the land of Shem. But the Pharaoh continued to pursue them, and when he arrived at the border between the land of Ham and the land of Shem, some amongst his people questioned whether he should lead them into the land of Shem, considering that the land of Ham was now free of the invader. And Pharaoh looked at his people, and reminded them that he was also a Moses, which is a strong and wise follower of the Christ, Alpha and Omega, standing steadfastly amongst those who remained obedient and true and who loved the tree of life. And he said to them, The land of Ham cannot be free, until all of its children have been released from their bondage. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Selah. And the Pharaoh with all the wisdom of a Moses and the blessings of the Christ, Alpha and Omega, which is the spirit of pure love and order, led his great army of Hamites and Ethiopians in perfect harmony and unity, into the land of Shem to set the captives free and balance the scales of justice and peace, by returning those who had once been in bondage, back to their homeland where they can once again be free. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end, the truth shall stand and forever it will be. Selah.